Right, hello. Yeah, this is the Roundup, the BS Roundup. I'm just actually going to rename it Harlan's Roundup, just to keep it more diverse and we can talk about anything and just round up the week of Lorcana. I think is actually what I want to do. But yeah, what I was going to look at first is the top 26, sorry, top 16 results from the event in Fort somewhere in America, Fort Worth. This is acting like I don't know what's going on. I do. Top 16, I think, is always the pinnacle of what's done really well at this event. Of course, you've got everything down to your pairings, the luck of the draw as well. But at the end of the day, to get to top 16, you had to perform very well on the event. So the list I'm going to look at. I think one thing that shined through in my opinion, with a lot of these lists is like people have some preferences on how they want to build blue steel, and that probably really goes to their favor. You've got things like a wheel or no wheel, putting in Mickey or one jump. You've got how many Mickeys you're going to play Mickey. You're going to go three or four. What your dime target is going to be, and I think there's a wide range of things that have done well here. So I think really the most important thing is what you pick. You've got to be comfortable and confident on. And I'll cover my list as well and where I'm at with that. But yeah, I'll just jump right into this. So top 16, we've got Zack B10. We'll have a look at this list. Pretty standard no wheel, I believe this one is. Yeah, that's the no wheel list. I think that's almost card for cards, except for there's a let it go in there. One, I think swap that round. Actually, there's a few cards different here. No, overall this is pretty standard no wheel. The two Hades has gone down from I believe Sky, who sort of started this list, was stuck with three, but two seems to be a sweet spot. And yeah, it just I think you get the right matchups, you know the deck well. Like I say, if you like me, I'm just so used to being able to high roll with the wheel when I'm in a bad spot, where I find no wheel sometimes a bit challenging to play. So I haven't really made the jump to it, 100%. I've talked about it and I've played the deck, but I'm still confidently sat on wheel. But yeah, this is very good. They've done very well. And congrats on them, really. I like the extra let it go. I find Hades sometimes is a bit clunky to use. When he works well, but when he works bad, when he's not working well. So when he's doing the job he needs to do, which is to play him out and take out a tower or take out something in the mirror, he's really good. When he's not doing that, he's an uninkable and he's quite clunky. And sometimes into RP or whatever, you might just want to play him out just because he's not going to leave the hand unless you quill it. So yeah, but still very strong card. Altogether great. I'd be quite scared of free beasts, but I think that's fine as well. Yeah, that's 3 to 4 is still usually quite a locked in number there. But no, amazing list. I'd like to see that. Next one's from Troll House. Let's have a look here. Yeah, pretty standard overall. Three towers there. Three Rise of Titans. I mean, if you're gonna go on Rise of Titans, you might as well go in on the card. So yeah, I think that's really good. Two bells, nice to sit on as well. Three towers, you've got five dime targets in total. Three fire the cannons as well. I quite like that actually. Three rises and three fire the cannons. That's just a really nice spread of matchups where you can do things against a Diablo, a Flynn or whatever, and then any locations just dealt with as well. I think that's a really quite tight list there. Three beasts as well. That's really nice. Yeah, no Zeus, and I can see you wouldn't really need a Zeus in this as much, in my opinion. Just because you'd be taking out the castle with Rise of Titans or whatever. But I still think, yeah, that's a really nice list there as well. And Mickey, there's two Mickeys so far. So, yeah, if you need to still on the debate of one jump or Mickey, I know there is R&B got top 64, I believe, and I believe he was on one jump. But congrats as well to that. But I think the majority of the top 64 was Mickey-based builds. So there's that going for you. Yeah, and this is Bad Vegas's. I really like this list. I think he's a really good player, and the one less Mickey doesn't scare me because if you're just used to playing that in set three, it was only really set four where everyone locked into four. But I think it's really nice. I think Gaston is a really good card, and I think he's such a preference card though. I think if you know why he's in there and you know why he's good, he just brings you so much value. Being able to, like I've said before in loads of videos, being able to scry, he does just a multitude of things. He's never bad to play. You're never going to be like, I don't want to draw a card and play a character that's got 4/4 on Quest for 3. I'd never want that. So he's just all good around. Yep, still two Rise of Titans, two Babooms there. Just all round really good lists. And I think he's done really well. And I think this will probably be quite a template for people going into regionals and store champs because it's just very nice and just done really well. If you watch them on stream as well, three Let It Goes is lovely, especially into a Sapphire meta that we're heading into, and still keeping the Zeus in the list. I believe there are 61 cards, but I think that's fine. Um, yeah, that's two of the tragic beasts as well. The card drop potential on this list is just so nice. I don't think you'd ever feel out of pocket. It doesn't look like it's teched to anything as well. I think it's just all round a good list. Um, Four towers going in on that. Go for six as well, six bell. Yeah, I really like that. They've committed to certain cards, committed to certain play styles, and it's done really well for them. So yeah, congrats to them. This is sort of the list that I'm running right now, where I'm at with it. Maybe looking a little bit different in some places to other people's lists, but I've gone back to a 2-2-2 split of two bells, two aerials, and two towers. I'll admit, just as my playstyle works, I've never been that fully committed into tower. I love it when it works. I love it when you can dime tap for like 11 lore. But when it doesn't, I just never know when I want to keep and when I want to ink. I'm a lot more comfortable with Aerial and Bell, just because Bell's been around earlier and Aerial was just this thing that you make on the board, and it makes people really awkward what they have to do. They have to do really awkward removal if they're a red deck, and if they're steel, they can't even touch it. So sometimes just her being on board is enough to win a game with some Cogsworths. Like earlier, I had one where it was develop her, then play two Cogsworths, and then just quest her each turn whilst you were throwing steel removal out, and I just thought that was really good. Um, there's no Rise of Titans in her right now. We commit completely to the just using character removal, Babooms, and a Zeus. I think as well, an interesting point to state is if I wasn't to show you on this list and someone was to pair me and didn't know who I was or hadn't seen my list, they would assume I have a Rise of Titans, and they would probably try and play around that. So there's that into it as well. But once you set up a Hook and an Argus on turn 1 and 2, you now have an instant castle killer, so you don't really need to Rise of Titans things. And Rise of Titans is really only for castles later on in the game, and I think later on in the game you can just race them instead of trying to remove things, in my honest opinion. So yeah, and we have gone back to yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think I use character removal for castle instead of Rise of Titans, and if not, I just race them, which I find is the more efficient way to beat locations. But that's just me, and that's just sort of where I've got to on the list. And I took them out because I was just either never using them or never finding them when I needed them, so they were just taking up deck slots that I just didn't need. I went back to Hardhead Beast. Uh, this is the most randomest reasonings for this. It's like Steel Song is back, and also the RB is back. The mirror is going to be tight as well. It's going to be common. So it's just like loads of reasons for me to keep Hardhead Beast in there, and not many reasons for me to not to. Because as I stated before, decent body, inkable 5-drop. It does a lot of things even when it's not breaking an item, in my opinion. So he's gone back in, whereas Chi and Poe will give me a leg up on the RP matchup, which I don't feel that bad into these days because I scrim it so much. Um, and then Tragic Beast, the card draw would be great, but yeah, I don't want to be against an RB player, and they've already ramped twice to get to Medusa range and take it out, and then it's had no value at all. At least when you play this against them, it forces them to do an ice block trade or some weird thing. But yeah, I still think those are good cards, and if you're confident and you enjoy those cards, I think you should stick with them as well. Don't take my word as gospel. These are all just opinions I have on the game. But yeah, overall, two Let It Go is felt fine. It's quite upsetting if you start with a Let It Go in your hand, because you know you're only one Let It Go down, which is fine for like most matchups because you just ink it. But if it's a Sapphire matchup, it's like, okay, I've only got one Let It Go left in the deck. I'm gonna have to play confidently. I'm gonna have to hide this with the Quill as well, so they don't know I've inked to Let It Go, and then play their towers out and stuff like that. But maybe if I could find room for there, I'd go to three. It depends on how big I predict the Sapphire meta to be in Bologna, which I will be attending next weekend. But yeah, I haven't really brought this list to Store Champs much. I don't know why. I've scrimmed it like crazy, but for some reason I always end up playing something different. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna try it again. But as I say, I really like a lot of it. It feels consistent. It makes sense in my head why I'd play these things. Captain Hook as well. If you the sort of blue steel player, he like aggressively quests early on. He's good for that. An empty board, he's just turning sideways, and he'll get you between 1 to 3 or 4 lore before he's even dealt with, which I think is really nice. And you pair that with a Smee, and they're both questing for loads, and they also can throw 6 damage out there, so you could throw that out at Babuma Castle if required. Or you can trade with the board. It can, I mean, that and a Smee and a Hook threaten a Hiram, threaten a lot of things. So I've just found them still as a great combo, and 2 has felt fine because I'm just not going to play it in most matchups, and I'm not going to use it on the play. I'm only going to use it on the draw in specific reasonings. But yeah, he's felt very nice to have back in the list. But yeah, overall that's great, and I hope some of those comments were helpful.